Thanks for joining me today. We're looking at the Snug. That's the first eco-design ready wood burning and multi-fuel stove. So this version here, it is SIA approved, DEFRA approved and eco-design ready. I'm going to start with just showing you how the controls work and then go into more detail about the stove itself. So this is closing down the secondary and tertiary and closing off the primary. You can see the air is being restricted and the stove's dying down. And now we're reintroducing air back into the firebox. So as you can see, the stove's going now, and inside we have the wood grate. It also comes with a multi-fuel option too, a stove that is multi-fuel and eco-design ready. So looking inside the stove, you'll see the fire bricks all the way around it. You've got the grate inside, which is the wood grate, and the log retainer too, which is quite nice and tall, which prevents the logs rolling forward. Underneath the grate, you'll have a good large ash pan, and above the fire, you'll see the baffle plate too. You've got a 5-inch top and rear flue outlet with a 100mm air feed at the rear, which where air flows in is separated off through a separate chamber and flows over the fire through the series of holes at the rear, reburning the initial smoke produced by the fire, and then comes over the top of the fire and is released onto the glass like a curtain of air, helping to keep it nice, clean and clear. This method is probably one of the best ways of keeping glass clean because it's superheated air rushing right down to this glass, keeping it nice and clean, obviously providing you burning nice dry wood as you should. On the stove itself underneath, you've got 4 bolts on the bottom, which is very practical because it helps to level the stove. So if you've got an uneven fireplace, helps keep it nice and level and prevents it from rocking. The vents on the bottom, brushed steel vents, good heavy duty vents, and a nice handle too, which is good to get grip hold of, very practical and stylish. So this is the secondary tertiary vent. When you close that down, you're reducing the air through this series of holes here and the air that's flowing over the fire. This is the primary vent here. That's the air flowing under the fire. So the air flows under here and then is coming up from above. Now if you're burning wood, you only really need to use the secondary tertiary control, because when you're burning wood, it likes lots of air rushing over the top of it and doesn't need a great deal of air coming from underneath. Whereas if you've got the multi-fuel grate in place, you want to be using more primary air, so this control here, and having less of the secondary tertiary air. So that's why it's important to have separate grates and separate workings, and you really do want to be burning wood and smokeless coals separately. Obviously a lot of people do burn wood and smokeless coals together, but they're two fuels that like completely different conditions with burning, and it also can be detrimental to your chimney if you are burning the two together. Another good little feature about the stove here is it's got a very low output of around 4.5 kilowatts. Its nominal is 7 kilowatts, but actually goes all the way up to just over 10 kilowatts. So it's got a really good range, the stove has, very practical for a whole different number of installs. I think that's everything. We've got a full specification online, but if you do have any questions, we'd be happy to help.